who do you blame when the code goes wrong? There are all these questions about scenarios in which AI is deemed or accused of being responsible for guiding a human into a bad situation. And Senator McBride, excuse me, not Senator McBride, we're going to be hearing from McBride later. Senator Blackburn raised this question earlier when she mentioned chatbots convincing people they're real or convincing people to do bad things, convincing people they're in a romantic relationship. There have been horrible cases where chatbots have encouraged people to commit suicide. And I want to ask the question of legally, who is liable? What do you think? Is it the product developer? Is it the end user?
Yes. So the senator made some good points. The question is a little unclear right now, although we're getting more clarity, because there's a new piece of legislation that just hit the Senate. I think she mentioned it. It's called the AI Lead Bill. And long story short, it decides to treat AI as a product, as opposed to what we would typically think of as a service or traditional social media, which is protected by Section 230. This changes the chessboard significantly if it passes. So if that's the case, then under this bill, the people that would be liable would be the same people who would be liable if there was a defective product put into commerce. So it would be the manufacturer or the AI company. It could be the downstream deployment entity, which is of interest, I think, to all of us, because that means, I assume all of us have AI in our businesses. So if we take it, even if there is a problem that we inherit, there's a problem in the product when we get it, we have certain obligations to make sure that that problem is not visited on our employees. So this is somewhat of a new theory for AI. How it plays out, we don't know. The other complicated thing is that's just one of 50 different pieces of legislation that's out there. I think last time I checked, there are 1,000 different pieces of AI legislation pending across all the states, and that doesn't count Europe, Asia. So it's going to be an interesting couple of years.
What do you think, Herb? Is AI a tool? Does it need to be regulated like a person, like a product or service, like this new legislation?
Yeah, I mean, to me, and time will tell, but to me, the right answer is to regulate it like a product. I mean, when I think, and you may have mentioned this, but prior to my law practice, I was an FBI agent for 20 years. And so coming from a law enforcement background, when I see criminal applications of AI, whether that be using it to facilitate fraud, which is being heavily done today, using an existing sort of primitive or off-the-shelf kind of model to build your own model to create, to conduct criminal activity, or even things that are worse than that, using it for exploitation of children online, or to cause some of the terrible outcomes that you talked about, where from a cyberbullying standpoint, clearly the criminal intent in those cases is by the people who are using the AI. I think there's no doubt about that. I think the civil question is actually a little bit tougher, right? Because it doesn't require specific knowledge or an intent, a mens rea to conduct a criminal activity. It requires an element of reasonable care and foreseeability. But that doesn't change the fact that AI is a platform that can be pretty easily adapted to almost anything, including criminal activity. And so as a result of that, you still need some type of regulation that helps prevent or punish or deter the use of AI for those types of malicious uses.